Hey fam, this is Fancy, and today you're here with Delicious Vibes with Fancy and Scripz. And I must say, this is a special edition. We know what's been going on in the city. We're calling it the coronavirus. It's impacting the world. I won't even say just New York City. So Dr. Romelus, that's what we're going to call him today, because he is a man with several hats, right? He wears many hats.
I try to.
He's not DJ today. He's the pharmacist, and we're going to ask him for his expertise. What exactly is the coronavirus?
Well, the coronavirus, it's known as COVID-19, but there's a group of coronaviruses that affect the respiratory system. In other words, the breathing and stuff like that. It's a virus that, goes through your body, through your eyes, your nose, and your mouth, and you have to be very protective of that. Not only that, it's also a heat-sensitive virus, meaning if it gets exposed to heat, it gets weakened or possibly get killed.
Wow, can you elaborate on that? You said if it's exposed to too much heat, it will be weakened, the strength, it will not be as powerful. So could you give us an example? What type of heat are you talking about?
Well, heat over 26 degrees, 26, 7 degrees, the virus cannot sustain that. As a matter of fact, when the virus enters your body, it goes into your sinuses where it's very cold over there. So that's where it kind of stay dormant and multiply. As it multiplies, it gains strength, and it travels down the throat, and from there it stays there for a couple of more days, and then after that it goes into your lungs. Once it gets into your lungs, it gets very strong, and you start developing pneumonia and stuff like that.
Wow, so this sounds like it's pretty dangerous, Dr. Romelus. What can people do to actually stay safe?
Well, the most protective things you could do, always wash your hands. That's if you come in contact with any individual or any surface, wash your hands as soon as you get into the house or you get into your office. Wash your hands, and also keep hand sanitizers around to make sure that you disinfect the location or wherever you at the moment.
So as I walked around the streets of Brooklyn today, I realized everyone was wearing masks. So my question to you is, who is most susceptible to this disease?
Well, the disease, with any infection, if your immune system is not strong, it's compromised, you're going to have a greater effect in terms of how the infection gets you. People that's in their older age, 40s, 50s, 60s, and people that also have chronic illnesses, that also has other conditions that weaken the immune system, they are very susceptible to these kinds of viruses. Okay, especially COVID-19.
So does that mean that we should not be as fearful at this stage in the game? What should we do as young people that may not necessarily be elderly, but what can we do?
Now, what happened is, people watching the news and they watching the internet and they see what's going on. There's so much information out there, so people are bombarded with information, and sometimes you don't know which information to follow. So everybody's just in a panic mode. The most important thing to do, like I said, you take preventive measures. You wash your hands. You use hand sanitizers. And you keep your body at a heat level energy, meaning you keep it hot and stay away from cold stuff, cold food, and other remedies that will help you, especially vitamin C and zinc, to boost up your immune system and to get you through this whole situation.
So what are the symptoms?
Well, usually when you get infected by the virus, this is why the virus goes into your sinus and stays dormant there for a while. After a few days, it travels through your throat. That's why you start feeling a little tingling in your throat and you feel a little pain there. And once it gets to that level, obviously, the body's going to be warm and you're going to start feeling hot. That means you're going to get a fever.
So someone that's experiencing some of these symptoms, should they run to the emergency room? What should they do?
Well, if you have chronic illnesses, meaning you have other pre-existing conditions, you should contact a health professional immediately. But if you are if you know that your immune system is okay, it's intact, just follow the procedures in terms of drink some hot soup, get you a pan and create a steam bath where you could inhale the steam. So, because once the hot steam gets inside your body, it start weakening the virus. And keep with you a first aid kit that has Tylenol, ibuprofen, and leave. Motrin, yeah, ibuprofen, that's ibuprofen. And hot tea, hot soup, and to just help you. Now, if you go after 14 days, if you're not recovering, you should contact a health professional, especially going to a hospital to get better treatment.
So if you're at home and you're feeling these symptoms, what should you do in terms of your other family members? Because you don't want to put anybody else at risk.
You should quarantine yourself. If you're lucky enough, if you have multiple rooms in the house, you go into that room and you stay there and you treat yourself, and then you make sure you disinfect all your clothes, you put them in a bag, and you make sure you don't contact other family members so you prevent the spread of the virus. It's really challenging to do that if you don't live in a big house or a big building and stuff like that. But if you live in closer proximity with other family members, you need to really figure out what you're going to do, because the virus is very contagious in terms of transmission.
Wow. So Dr. Scripz, or Romelus, I should say, I think we're breaking some rules right now. Isn't there a certain distance that...
No, we're not breaking any rules.
We're breaking rules right now.
Sure you're not infected.
Don't let President Trump see what's going on over here.
Let me ask you a question. Are you infected? You're not infected. So if you're not infected, it's only because of for preventive measures. Obviously, you don't know what's going on out there. So if you don't know if the person is infected or not, so you gotta keep your distance. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it.
So, Dr. Romelus, I'm hearing about a shutdown. They're shutting down the city. What are your recommendations? What could people do while they're on lockdown?
Well, I love to read books. I mean, I love to look for information. Everybody's different, You have all the DJs out there that's going to go live, and you have all the other health professionals, such as myself, that's going to give live information in terms of what the virus really is and how to protect yourself. Get involved with your family members, educate them, because I know I educate my kids about the coronavirus and how to take preventive measures. And my daughter stay on me, especially when I just come inside our house. Daddy, go into the bathroom. You gotta wash your hand. You're not touching me. So things like that. So you educate your family members, and you play games, and you spend good family quality time.
So there seems to be another fear that's happening. Many people say that because of this coronavirus, there may be another pandemic of pregnancies by the summertime.
You're crazy. Okay, well, yeah, man, that's likely to happen. Netflix and chill. People are gonna get in their house and they're gonna get the Hennessy going, they're gonna get the Ciroc going. Next thing you know, things gonna lead to things.
Blame it on the alcohol.
Blame it on Puff Daddy and Hennessy, you know what I'm saying, for bringing Ciroc out here. So it's gonna happen. I mean, these things are inevitable. The most important thing or effective thing you could do is wrap it up. If you wrap it up, you still can have your good time and prevent the baby boomers in the summer.
So, Dr. Romelus, do you know what the strippers are doing? Because the clubs are also closed.
So now you're taking me to the next level now. And follow him with what the strippers are doing, because that's not my field. What I used to, that's not where I'm at right now. That's not where I'm at. I don't, do that stuff, but I still party.
So there's actually a page called Fans Only.
I don't know what that
where
is.
the strippers are using this.
Are you aware of that page?
Of course.
You've been on that page?
No, I have no reason to go on that page. However, every once in a while it'll pop up on my Instagram, and I said,
My thing is, it's not only COVID-19, coronavirus, that's infecting us. You have HIV out there, you have the flu out there, you have a whole bunch of other, agents out there that can affect us. So, me in particular, when it comes to that kind of lifestyle, look, I'm from Brooklyn. I grew up in Brooklyn. I was raised in Brooklyn. I tend to be more careful because of working in the health sector, because I see these things all the time. I see the prettiest ladies, the most, handsome guys, and they have the monster. I'm sorry for saying monster. This is inappropriate.
Never
this is
judge
inappropriate.
a book by its cover.
But, okay, I see, let me retrospect a little bit. I see these people and they're infected. So me working in, as a health professional, I take preventive measures, and I'm very careful with, what I do. And the flesh is weak. We all know that. The flesh is weak. However, you gotta limit the weakness.
So it seems that this particular disease is really affecting the world. This is really a global problem.
Yeah, it's a pandemic.
It's attacking China, it's attacking everywhere.
In regards to, the pandemic that's going on, how does that affect you as a teacher and your students?
Okay, so this pandemic has really had a lot of dramatic, extreme effects on the students and Department of Education. So I'm not sure if you know, of course, New York City public schools are all closed. Schools in Long Island are closed. Schools in Westchester are closed because we do not have a hold on this particular pandemic situation. So students now have been reverted to online learning. Teachers had to log into Google Classroom, and there we're going to be uploading work. We're also going to be using Google Hangout so that we can actually conduct classes where we could look at the students. We are also going to be using something that we call Zoom. A lot of colleges are using it right now. I must say this is going to be a tough experience. It's not going to be an easy one.
Well, through every situation, it's a live and learn situation. I mean, people that was not involved with technology, now they're going to be more into technological stuff, and they're going to be, I mean, it's going to be rough in the beginning, because I know some people don't like computers, but it's something that you have to, it's a must do right now in terms of getting involved with technology. So now, you say you're using what? Google Class and Zoom?
Google Classroom, that's where we're going to be uploading all our lessons. Any type of work that students need to complete is going to be uploaded on Google Classroom. That's where we're going to also check attendance. Zoom is a program that colleges are using, and now a lot of the Department of Education schools are going to be using too, where we can actually visually sit and look at all the students in a classroom. We're also going to be using Google Hangout, where the whole class can be there. Students,
Wow.
You'll be able to see the faces of every student.
Imagine hanging out online, right? It's going to be like the new Facebook.
Well, it would be something more like, I guess, the party hang. I think students have a program that they use, the party room or something like that. It's something like that, where we're actually going to look at every student that's inside the classroom.
No, but now how do you monitor and know these students are learning? I mean, now this is a whole new different situation.
So for me, it's really going to be challenging because I'm an ESL teacher. So I am working with students that's in the process of learning English. So not only do I have to make sure that they're working on speaking, reading, talking, I have to focus on all of those modalities. Now I have students that really do not speak English fluently. So I have to upload a lot of the information in their language. So I'm going to have to translate materials. So if I have...
Now let me ask you, now we're going to go back to the virus in terms of its infection. Now, have you got notice from your principal that anybody in your school got infected?
Okay, so the building that I work in has 4 other schools, and there's been 2 cases
of coronavirus.
2 teachers have been diagnosed.
How recent was that?
As of last week. So we didn't even actually go into the building for the entire week. We stayed for 1 day, and then they closed the building because they had to clean it out. The Department of Health had to go into the building.
So now what is the progress with these 2 infected individuals? Are they recovering or are they in the hospital?
You know what? They really don't tell you much because of HIPAA laws. They really cannot divulge too much information about the sick person, right? You still have to have a certain level of confidentiality. And they don't want you to panic, right? Because we all share the same bathrooms, we share the same conference rooms. So in order to avoid the panic, they don't give you too much information, just enough to help you know how to conduct yourselves in the building.
Okay, well, now let me ask you another question now. How long is school supposed to remain shut down and kids learning online? How long
So
is that
for
gonna
now, New York City public schools are supposed to open back up April 20th. That's what we've been told. However, they have canceled all state exams. So no regents will be given out, no ELA exam, no math exam. So I can only assume that we may not go back until September.
Wow.
Because I'm actually very shocked that they suspended all of the state exams.
This is a serious hit.
This is very serious. It's really serious. It's scary because they don't have a hold on it. I mean, I know the students are happy for now that there's no regents, but this is my concern, right? So if there's no regents, we're not sure how that's going to affect promotion. Because the classes that we're going to be giving workouts, I have a lot of students that are seniors. They're supposed to be graduating. So I'm not sure how this is going to impact them. Are they going to have to come in during the summer for these state exams?
Wow.
Right? So, because the Regents is issued, for example, in January, in June, and then in August. So if they canceled the one for June, I'm assuming that some of these students may have to take the exam in August. We don't know yet. Very little is known, right? Because we still are trying to figure out what's going on with this particular disease.
Well, lucky for me, I mean, I'm a little bit savvy with computer and technology. The school sent me information in regards to online teaching. So they kind of like send the password and the link, and I set my kids up to learn online. And so far it's been okay. They put the assignment, math assignment, reading assignment, and we just log on and my kids sit in front of the computer doing the work. I just know that some kids, they don't want to learn it. They don't like school. Now, it's going to be very hard for a young person to sit in front of a computer to teach themselves or watch some kind of video. So which means it's going to be more stress on the parent, because the parent got to make sure the kid is doing the work. And then another thing to consider, some parents, no disrespect, they don't know how to use computers in addition to not knowing how to do math or reading, or they don't know anything.
So I'll tell you
I mean, I'm sorry for making it seem that way, but because, for example, like me, think about it. If this had happened in the 80s and the 90s, my Haitian mother don't speak English. You understand what I mean? She doesn't know how to write certain things. She may be good at little math, but how she's going to help me overall?
So we're going to be conducting actual classes online, where we're going to be teaching the students. So it's not just providing them with the classwork, we're also going to be conducting mini lessons online with them. So we're going to provide them with certain skills that they need, and then all of my fellow teachers have email accounts, so that students are able to communicate with their teachers through email. We also have provided students with our phone numbers. Most teachers have set up Google phone numbers, so that's another way to reach out. I myself communicate with my students through WhatsApp. So I have WhatsApp, I have a Google phone number, I have, of course, my email, but my students are able to communicate with me, I would say, almost around the clock.
So you're like a doctor in the ER.
I am like Dr. Scripz as well. They can get me at any time, and they really do. My foreign students have, I put up an assignment already that's due on Wednesday, and I would say half of my class already sent the assignment to me.
Okay.
They completed. They read I sent them a video, and then they had to answer questions connected to it in reference to the coronavirus, because I want them to be educated. I want them to understand what's going on with the virus. Yes.
Okay, well, like I said, it's a very tough time. It's a very challenging time in this country, and worldwide. I recently heard a few cases popped up in Haiti, and I don't know too much about it. I don't know too much about that. I just hope everybody's safe. I just hope people use the proper procedures and protect themselves.
What I am going to ask a lot of my parents to do, even if you do not completely understand how to complete a task, I am going to ask that you just stay on top of your child to make sure that they are logging on, that they are making the attempt to complete the task. And of course, ask for a contact number or email address for the teacher, so therefore you can follow up. Most of the time, if a child sees that you're holding them accountable, they'll do what they need to do. If you give them so much freedom that you don't check in, that is when they're going to try to get away with murder. And remember, there's no regents. So they need to complete these assignments.
Now, what can the school and the Board of Ed do to ease the stress on these parents? Because I feel sorry for them. To think about it, sometimes I've been doing homework with my kids. I'm like, what kind of question is this?
Khan Academy is one that I would definitely recommend. Khan Academy, you could do math, you can do English, you can do history. You can also, of course, go on YouTube. There's a lot of tutorials that you could see that'll show you step by step how to solve a lot of math problems. I know for me.
What about the readings? What about the writings? What about the, the overall learning procedures or aspect of being in school?
I think it's a great idea for you to learn with your child, because I know this is a whole different process. So we want to say thank you for Dr. Romelus for sharing your expertise with us in reference to this pandemic that we're dealing with.
Well, the information is out there, man. Everybody can get their hands on the information. I would like to say thank you to you also, for being a teacher and providing this information to the general public, which is pretty much needed. We need all we can right now, especially being informed and staying away from fear and staying away from, going crazy. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. And guess what? Delicious Vibes with Fancy and Scripz. I think we are an excellent duo because guess what? We're hip-hop, we're DJs, event planners,
You're a DJ
and we're
also?
professionals.
I gotta teach her how to DJ.
And we're professionals.
I'm afraid to teach her how to DJ because if I do, her classroom would be a party.
It's already a party. Anybody
Okay.
can log on to my Instagram page.
If I go back to teaching, because I was a teacher once, I guarantee you, I would bring my DJ equipment in there and DJ every day, man.
Let me tell you something. That's what I'm going to miss about the classroom, that I'm not going to be able to hang out with my kids.
Okay.
The last day before school closed, we had like a huge party, a show.
Okay.
And that's what the pictures are up on Instagram. You can check it out, everybody. Fancycheska 1.
Okay.
And you'll see some of the pics that went up.
Well, like you said, we are, dynamic
Fancy
duo, and we do many things.
It's a vibe.
As a matter of fact, with me, I'm trying to cut down on doing too many things because I'm kind of getting old. Well, not old.
He's getting old, not me.
I'm